October, our focus is on finances. The title of our talk today is Let It Flow, given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks. We are so glad that you joined us here today. Please feel free to add to the chat or the comment section any prayer requests or celebration that you would like to have us include later when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. We invite you to sit back, get comfortable, relax in this moment as we officially begin our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. Wonderful. Okay, and now it's time for our meditation. Join me with a deep breath in and out. Repeat. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Relax your body, releasing any tension in your neck and your shoulders, your chest, your spine, your belly, your legs, and your feet. Just feel your body enter into a state of complete relaxation. And now in that relaxed but alert state of mind, contemplate the phrase, go with the flow. Go with the flow. What image comes to mind? Go with the flow. Perhaps you can picture with me a leaf as it flows along with the current of a stream in a forest on a beautiful autumn day. The sun is shining. The trees are just wrapped up, just dressed in a variety of colors. There's red, there's orange, there's gold, and even some green leaves. You're just filled with peace as you watch this leaf just float, trickle along with the current, floating gently by you, continuing on its path downstream. It has no worries about where it's going. It just floats along with this relaxed state of mind. Repeat after me. You don't have to turn on your mics this time. Sometimes I ask you to turn on your mics, but just stay in this relaxed state of mind and repeat these phrases after me. I am like this leaf. I float along with the current. I am the instrument through which life flows. My life is filled with abundance. I accept that which is ready to express through me. I release any thoughts of limitation. I am the instrument through which life flows. I am the instrument through which life flows. Take a moment and just savor this sense of peace as you feel at this moment in time, this moment in the now. Maybe you continue to just picture that leaf just gently flowing along, just floating with, going with the flow. Feels so good to be in this relaxed state. When you are ready, slowly come back and join us. Wiggle your feet and toes. Wiggle your hands, your fingers. Open your eyes and bless this moment of peace as we have some music.
Good morning, CSL Leesburg. It's a pleasure, as always, to be with you. This morning I'll be singing a couple of songs that I hope lend themselves to us singing together. As you hear, I am a bass this morning, and Lucia, who you all, I believe, have seen or met on some occasion, is running about, also coughing, so I apologize if there's some extra percussion in the performance. But we're going to sing, and we're going to let it flow. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and let go. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and let go. Drop the oars in the water. Drop the oars in the water and ride with the flow. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water, children. Drop the oars in the water, children. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
That was awesome. I'm going to stop sharing. And hey guys, drop the oars in the water. I don't know about you, but I was doing my Caribbean, Anyway, I love it. Thank you, Leah. Man, go with the flow. Tamara, what a wonderful meditation. That was just beautiful. Thank you for that, because today we talk about letting life's abundance flow through us and not stopping the flow, which is already always happening. This flow of life is happening. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, because as I told you, the month of October has 5 weeks. And oh, that's convenient because treatment has 5 steps. And so if we're talking about finances all month long, wouldn't it be great if we could just harmonize the 5 steps of treatment with these 5 weeks? And so all last week for last Sunday, I was reminding you that step 1 is all about God is, or the universe is. There's only one power, only one life. This unity expresses through all things. And specifically, since the topic is finances, I wanted us to really get a feel for the abundance of the universe. And my little catchphrase was, God's not broke. So that just means that there's abundance flowing in and through and as all life. If wherever you look, we saw a video where they talked about the sheer numbers of things. Just, we can't it's ineffable. We cannot grasp the size of the divine, because it's just, our little tiny puny brain just can't. But we had an idea and it was baffling. And so if we were to take last Sunday's talk and compress it down to a statement, a recognition section of a treatment, then it would sound something like this. There is a universal power, a presence, one life. This power is all that exists. God is everywhere present, for within itself, it has created all things. There is nothing that exists outside of the infinite. Everything exists within this divine presence. Its desire to express itself initiated all that we can see, hear, feel, touch, from the vastness of the cosmos that we just discovered last week to the multitude of the leaves on each tree. This presence is not cheap. It does not skimp. It does not deprive itself of abundant variety and countless multitudes of substance of all matter, seen and unseen. This is a presence that delights in opulence. This presence delights in a dazzling display of splendor and infinite goodness. That is the recognition statement that says, I recognize God is all there is. And wow, what an abundant, lavish, opulent display of itself that it's doing right here and right now. And I love that this recognition statement also recognizes this fact that we cannot move around outside of the presence of God, outside of the presence of the divine, that when the divine flung itself into the cosmos as the cosmos, it also still remains within it. It did not say, all right, there you go, I'm out. It's impossible. There's not two, there's only one. It's the divine, it's all things. You can't create something and leave. You are the thing. You don't leave the thing that you are. It's impossible to do it. You see what I'm saying? That's the recognition part. And when we get really, really comfortable and solid in knowing that God is all there is, or if you don't like the word God because it comes with a lot of baggage, I hear you, then just the universe, the infinite presence, the ultimate ground of all beingness, that is right where we are. Because that second step now, so if you took any of our classes, you know that there are 5 steps. It's R, recognition, that starts with an R, and then U is the next step, unification, and then the other R, realization, then the T, the thanksgiving, and then the other R is release. It's RURTR. Are you ready to receive? RURTR. It's a cute mnemonic. We remember the steps because we know we're ready to receive stuff or divine action in our lives. So treatment prayer is just about getting ourselves together. We don't do it to change the outside. We don't do it to take care of other things. We do this treatment. It's like a logical progression of mental activity that helps us get to the knowledge, of course I deserve all that I desire. Of course it's already present here within me. Of course. So I'm just taking us nice and slowly through all 5 steps so that we can really feel what that is like when it comes to finances. So the second step, the U, unification. What are we unifying with? Well, the idea is, if you just said a second ago that there can be nothing outside of the divine, think about that. God is all there is. There's no spot where God is not. Oh my gosh, that means like I'm unified with that. There's no separation. I am not separate from the divine presence. Unification is where we say, oh, God is, and a lot of times we point, no. God is right where I am. God is, I am. It's right here. And that's the step we're doing today. So what is that about? Well, if the cool part is, if God is abundant, if the universe is full of plenty, of splendor, of opulence and goodness, guess what I am? The same thing. I am full of opulence and splendor. I am full of all good. In fact, there is a quote by Ernest Holmes, and I'll share what this looks like so you guys can read the quote along with me. Give me a moment. This. Okay. Ernest Holmes, in This Thing Called You, page 53, says, the will of God for you is the will of a boundless life flowing through you. It is the will of joy, of success, of happiness, of peace, and yes, of abundance. It is the will of the kingdom of heaven, not absent from this earth, but imperfectly seen. Look at those last 2 words. Imperfectly seen. So the kingdom of heaven is not really in another spot. It's not somewhere else. The kingdom of heaven, Jesus said, is at hand and it's within. But it's imperfectly seen. Well, who's doing the seeing in this scenario? I'll stop sharing now. It's imperfectly seen by us. And there's a story. Now, I have to warn you that I am taking a class called the Metaphysical Bible in You. So, of course, I have a Bible story, absolutely, back in the Old Testament or the Jewish Bible or the Torah, as we all know. There is a story, from 2 Kings, chapter 4, 1 through 7, there's a woman. Her husband died. And as the Jewish tradition goes, when your husband dies and if the husband is in debt, then the wife has to sort of pay off his debt. If there's no substance or sustenance, if there's nothing, she doesn't have anything in the house, she has to give up her kids. So they came and they're looking for her 2 sons. They're going to take them. So she goes to the prophet Elisha and she says, I'm going to paraphrase, dude, they're about to take my kids. And he says, hold up. Why would they need to take your kids? She says, because my husband died and I don't have any money. And he said, Elisha said, what is in the house? What do you have in your house? And she said, only a lamp filled with oil. And he said, only a lamp? Now, I want to pause. This is where Ernest Holmes is saying that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, but we see it imperfectly. She is looking at this lamp that has oil in it, and oil's a pretty good commodity. Like, that's a pretty big thing back in the day. And she says she only has that lamp. How many of us say we only have, oh, I only have this or that? Well, Elisha's told her, let me tell you what, you don't have a substance problem. What you have is a limitation problem. He says, go to your neighbors and borrow vessels. Borrow vessels that hold oil. And she's like, okay, but I don't know what that's going to do. So she goes to her neighbors and she borrows vessels for holding oil. And she brings them back into her house. And Elisha told her, now take the one lamp that has oil in it and pour it into each of the vessels. And much to her surprise, as she poured from the one, only one, it filled up each of the vessels until there were no more vessels. And that's only when the flow stopped. Mind blown. Mind blown. And for me, metaphysically or mystically, that means that if I am looking at my life, judging it, that I don't have enough because I only have this. Well, if the universe is abundant, and we talked about size last week, if the universe is abundant and everywhere present there is the divine, that means the divine abundance is available everywhere at all times. And the only thing that could limit it is our imperfect vision, our imperfect seeing of it, our onlyness. Only. And that when she was able to get more vessels, then because she expanded her consciousness to be able to hold more, then the universe poured more into those vessels. And consciousness is what we're talking about. Because God can only do for us what God can do through us. So if we pray constantly for, I want to be better, I want to have more, without expanding our consciousness to be able to hold more, then the universe is like, I'm trying to give it to you, but you have this closed fist. You're tightly holding on to everything, and there's no room for anything new. There's no room. You have to make room. You have to empty out. What does that look like for you? It could look any number of ways. I know for me, it looked like not giving my energy to things that I wasn't wholeheartedly into. I had to create space for then the divine to give me creative ideas about business building, about contracts, about whatever it is that was my business to do. And then I had the time and the energy to pursue that. And then it started to flow better. You could be busy doing 3 different busy work types of jobs and then complaining because there is no money. There's only this substance in my life. But then you have to ask yourself, what's really trying to come through me? What's really trying to express itself as me? And am I living in alignment with that? Or am I in fear about not ever having enough? So I take whatever little busy work job comes my way, and it pays less than I know that I'm worth, but it's out of fear. I hold on to that because it's better than nothing. I've created no room. I've created no empty vessel for life to pour itself in at the level to which I am deserving. And it's my own choice. It's my own imperfect vision that's causing me to place my pearls in something that does not satisfy me. It's probably frustrating for everybody. Trust me, if you're working a job just because it's a job and you're not being paid, you're not feeling that you're pouring your life in the right place, probably nobody's happy. You're probably giving pretty poor service anyway. So now it would be foolish to just quit and say, well, Charlene said I should just quit this job because it's not doing me any good, and I'm just going to sit and just wait until, not saying that, but just know that there's a desire planted in you. It's just yours. It's not in someone else the way it's in you. And that thing wants to come forth. It wants to bless others. And that thing that you're doing that is awesome, that no one else can do, just like you, that thing is likely to also be the avenue from which you will be, receiving your sustenance. Now, if that's not the way that you receive your sustenance, keep looking, keep thinking, because what I do know is this: creativity is a valve. You turn it open and it flows through you. And so is abundance. Often it's the same valve. And there are ideas that we have when we can just open ourselves, bring in those empty vessels. And sometimes that empty vessel is just your mind. Just sitting like Tamara had led us to do today, and just sitting by a mental river and allowing our mind to just watch the leaf just float down the river, unencumbered, going with the flow, emptying our vessel of all the chatter, all the, oh, you can't do this. Oh, no one's ever done that before. How about this? This is a very good one that keeps us from our good. Well, other people are having a terrible time. Other people, I heard there's a recession coming. Other people are having a hard time and it's going to get worse. So who am I to expect to do well in these times, right? Who am I? And I want to say that even during a recession, even during the Great Depression, there are people who thrived. Now, let me tell you the difference about those who thrived and those who threw themselves off the side of the building, because both of those things happened. The people who thrived, well, let's just say both of them had the same job and both of them had the same outcome. Maybe they were both fired. I'm just creating a scenario where two things started out the same. What makes one person continue on and thrive and the other person say, that's it, I'm out? Well, the person who continued on and thrived knew that their sustenance, that their abundance did not come from the things that they achieved so far. That what that came from was their consciousness. They had a consciousness of being in alignment with the divine. They had ideas that flowed through them, creatively creating, creatively building a life that looked like wealth and abundance to the outside experience. And when that went away, they did not identify with that abundance as their self. They just said, gee, that sucks. I lost that. Well, let's start from ground zero and figure it out again, because they know that they were imbued with the divine insight and power and creativity that allowed them to do that once. And if I can do it once, I can do it again. And I imagine that that person went out and was looking for opportunities, and where other people saw despair, they thought, how can I use my talents to make this work for me? And sure enough, people with the idea, with a consciousness of, I am aligned with my divine good, and I am not limited by it. It does not define me. I am aligned with the divine, and I create good, and I share it willingly. I'm in the flow, giving and receiving. And when that goes away, that's okay, because that's not my source. My source is divine source. It's always ever present. And boy, did it change. Looks like I have to change too. And with that resilience and that grit, they bounced back and did more, and possibly even better. And on the other hand, those that did well and identified their lives with the things that they had, these would be the ones that over accumulate, that possibly boast about what they have. They may be a little bit tight-fisted, don't want to give, because that would take away from the piles that they have. That kind of miserly approach. That type of person When that external evidence of their wealth goes away, their internal value drops to nothing, and that's it. Despair sets in. Throw yourself off the side of a building. I mean, both can happen. And I'm here to say, if you're here with me listening to this talk, then you already get it. There is a divine presence in you that is only as giving as you allow it to be. And so our job is to expand the bucket, get a bigger bucket. Looks like we're going to need a bigger bucket, is what I think we'd say to each other. We go to the source and we see that this source is infinite, it's overflowing, and we bought just a little tiny cup. And by pulling more from the resource, by grabbing more, it doesn't take away from other people. There are some of us who are afraid to really go for what they know they could have because they're afraid that they'll deplete it for others. And that's really honorable. I love that about you. If you're standing at the side of the ocean and you brought a little cup because you don't want to take too much, trust me, there's enough. Go back and get a bigger bucket and come on and get what you need. The divine is infinite in its source. And if we take a really deep breath, it doesn't mean other people can't also take a deep breath. Infinite amount of breaths, infinite amount of sustenance in the ocean for us to pull from. Just getting ourselves aligned with, we are not hurting anyone by allowing the divine to flow through us abundantly. And here's the catch: allowing it to flow out, allowing it to flow in and out, not getting too caught up in paying bills, not getting too weirded out about having to write yet another check. It's the flow. I'm in the flow. Light a candle, turn on some Barry White, and get in the flow. Write that check, right? Just let's go. It's all good. It's all God. It's flowing in and it's flowing out. So God can do no more for us than God can do through us. We have to allow it. And it flows through our consciousness. It flows through our faith, through our vision. These things are happening. The divine is flowing in and through and around us. So it's not for a lack of substance. It's a lack of vessels. It's not, we don't have only this oil. We've got to get more vessels, a bigger consciousness, and then it flows into that. I kind of think it's kind of like purses. Ladies, you know how it is when you get a small purse, you kind of fill it up. So you get a bigger purse. What happens to that bigger purse? It fills up. So you get even a bigger purse thinking, this is definitely the biggest purse I need. And what happened? It fills up. Stuff fills to the container. It's just the way it works. Things just fill to the size of the container. Consciousness, when we get a bigger consciousness of who we are, life fills that up. I guess they say the universe abhors a vacuum. Got to fill that up. Can't have it empty. So get a bigger consciousness about that. And there's no place in the universe that's any more present. Like, I don't have to go somewhere. This is the other piece. I don't have to go somewhere so I can be alone with the divine. Nope. I used to think that. I used to think back in the day that I had to have a special meditation chair with all the right incense and all the right sounds and all the right visual, reminders. And it was making me put off meditation because it wasn't perfect. And so I realized, well, if God is everywhere present, then I could just sitting right in my chair, I could just close my eyes and do a quick meditation. I don't have to have all the accoutrement. That's for other people. That's to prove to other people, oh, I'm spiritual. Look at my meditation room. I mean, literally, I can meditate anywhere. Also, when I moved from LA to Virginia, I thought, oh no, I don't want to leave Agape. I might just stay here just because I have Agape. And then I said, well, Agape teaches me, because that's another Science of Mind organization, They teach me God is everywhere present. So why would you limit yourself to Southern California when all arrows are pointing to Northern Virginia? With 12 reasons yes, and the only reason no is for church. Come on. God's everywhere. And so reminding myself to not think that I need to be in one spot because God's in all the spots. Or not, there's more God over here than over there. Is there more gravity there too? Because that's not how that works, right? You've got equal law, equally present, everywhere present. There's not more gravity in this spot than that spot. Okay, all of you science people, I know the equator has a little more because of centrifugal force. Forget about it. So the last thing I want to say to you is when we think about law of attraction, let's tweak that a bit. You know how they say that there's a law of attraction and that we attract things to us with our mental mindset, but there's another idea about it. It's called the law of radiation, which means we are radiating out a certain quality, and then that becomes our experience. That what we radiate out congeals into physical form. What? Because I was thinking law of attraction, like a magnet. This thing over here already exists, and I'm going to create this field that, boop. No. Because if God is everywhere present, then there is no here and there. There's just me radiating out this new level of consciousness that then congeals and becomes an experience, like the pouring of the oil into the vessels. Just knowing that that is just being that space for I am consciously opening and expanding my ability to hold the good. I am not going to limit myself anymore because my friends are doing this much. I only want to do a little bit better because I don't want to make them jealous and I don't want them to feel competitive, and we're not going to hide anymore. We're not going to agree to be mediocre. So everybody is happily mediocre. We're going to stop all that. We're going to expand our consciousness to be able to hold more good, to let it be okay to be abundant in all the ways it shows up, not just monetarily. And to be able to hold that and share that and be in that flow so that the goodness of life is always reciprocating in our life. And I'll end with this quote from Todd Michael in the book he wrote, The 12 Conditions of a Miracle. He says, in this universe, the true power, the great flow that brings life and energy and lavish abundance travels in a moving circle, a spiral. This dynamic spiral constantly returns to a new starting point, recharged and primed for another powerful flow of good. Miracle workers understand this circularity at a deep level. They move with this flow. They work within the great cycle, never against it. And in doing so, they harness its extraordinary power for good. Let's go within. I know there's only one power, that divine power known as life, infinite, Mother, Father, God, the divine feminine, that which flung the stars across the galaxy and the galaxy across the universe and all of its splendor. That energy is right where I am. There can be no separation from me and the divine because it is right where I am. It is also right where each and every one of us is. It is everywhere present. There's no spot where God is not. And with this knowingness, I know that the universe's abundant energy, powerful force for good is available to each and every one of us right where we sit. And whatever in our lives is appearing in a form of lack, I know that right there is the divine impulse to pour itself fully in all of its splendor into that situation, whether it's financial, relationships, health, well-being. I'm speaking my word right now that right where we are, that good is happening. It is unfolding, and it is making itself available to all of those who will acknowledge it, who will make room for it, who will open to it. I speak my word that we are receiving it openly and agreeably, and that we know that we deserve it. We know that we are worthy to receive. So as we know this and as we grow in this way, I speak my word that during this week we will find so many opportunities to realize ways in which we can grow our consciousness, ways in which we may have been holding back the flow. We step off the hose and allow it to flow freely into our lives. And I'm so excited to see how this responds, how the universe responds. Because I know that it is always pressed down and running over 10 times what we put out, we get back. And so I'm so grateful for this awareness. I know that it is already unfolding and it's becoming more and more present in our lives. I release my word into the law, knowing that it has no option because it always says yes. And so I let it go, I let it be. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Whew. And Leah is going to take us home.
I do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I'm flexible and open, I am loving, I am free. I do what I love and money comes to me. I have far more than enough of everything I need. I have far more than enough of love, joy, peace, freedom. I have far more than enough, and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I'm flexible and open, I am loving, I am free. I do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I'm flexible and open, I am loving, I am free. Do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I love and money comes to me. I'm flexible and open, I am loving, I am free. Do what I love and money comes to me. I do what I have far more than enough of everything I need. I do what I have far more than enough when it comes to me. I'm flexible and open, joy, peace, freedom. I have far more than enough, and money comes to me. Here it comes.
Woo, my goodness gracious. Oh, we are so blessed to have such wonderful music. And thank you so much, Charlene, for your wonderful message today. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared with us today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation and the law of radiation, as Charlene pointed out. So we are a tithing community. We know that the donations that are shared with our center just bless everyone abundantly, those who give and those who receive. Your donations help our center, our home organization, as well as organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Please look at the screen. It's easy to find a way that works for you. And we thank you so much for your support. No matter how you are giving, please take it and just place it over your heart. It might be physical. It might just be mentally, because you know you just have that cycle that just donates every single month automatically. Please join me in our blessing of our gifts. The presence of Spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I'm a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And so it is. We thank you so much for your support. All right, folks, it is time for announcements. So Tuesdays at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can join Charlene and her friends as they do their dream study. They talk about their dreams, they interpret their dreams, and just help each other, because sometimes we need somebody else to have that perspective. We're just too close to it. And they discuss the dreams and maybe give you some insight of what the universe is bringing your way. We have our fall class. It's 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. It's not too late to join. If you haven't joined, we had our first class, and we'll have our next class on Saturday. It's at noon. And I've got to tell you, folks, even though I'm helping to teach this with Charlene, I walk away learning new things, insights, stuff that has stayed with me throughout the week. So join us if you can. All right, folks, it's time for our closing affirmation. We know there is abundance. We are so blessed. So just put your hands over your heart once again and remind yourself, I am love.
I'm love.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know I love to hear you. Now look at somebody on the screen or somebody who's in the room with you and just send out that loving abundance to them. You are love.
You are love.
You are love. Now put your hands up in the air and remember, it's all love.
It's all love.
Oh, thank you so much. I love to hear you guys. Oh, it's wonderful. All right, if you can stay, please stay. We're going to share our pearls, those little nuggets from the service or from the song that just radiate with us and are staying with us. We want to talk about them some more, explore them in more depth. Just join the fellowship if you can. If you can't stay, then we send you off with our love and our blessing. Thank you so much for joining us today. Bye-bye.